Jezebel. Oh my goodness.
Whom she married, plots, lies, and murder.
Today, we will locate Jezebel's homeland, discover who she really was, and revisit some of the webs of lies and plots that she weaved.
Plus, what is Jezebel's connection to the harp of all things?
Jezebel was from the ancient city of Sidon. Where is Sidon located? Sidon, also known as Saida, is located about 25 miles south of modern Beirut, Lebanon, as is seen on this map. Sidon was a kingdom, and Jezebel was not just an ordinary citizen of that city. She was the daughter of Baal, king of ancient Sidon. Jezebel was a princess. Who got married to Jezebel? Now, let us read about that for ourselves in 1 Kings 16 verses 30 and 31. Now Ahab the son of Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord more than all who were before him. And it came to pass, as though it had been a trivial thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, that he took as wife Jezebel, the daughter of Baal, king of the Sidonians.
Ahab, king of Israel. Who would have known?
Before we continue, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Also, like, comment, and hit the notification bell to get the next episode. Thank you. Now, back to our story.
The problem with that was Baal, as the name suggests, was a worshipper of Baal, an idol god, in the form of a golden bull, or as some say, a golden donkey. He and his people actually bowed down and worshipped that thing, the image of an animal. Baal's daughter, Jezebel, was also a Baal worshipper, and a die-hard one too. On the other hand, the Israelites, including Ahab, worshipped God, the creator of heaven and earth. Nonetheless, under the influence of Jezebel, King Ahab worshipped Baal, and many of God's people also turned to worshipping Baal, the idol god. Here 1 Kings chapter 16 says of Ahab, "And he went and served Baal and worshipped him. Then he set up an altar for Baal in the temple of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. And Ahab made a wooden image. Ahab did more to provoke the Lord God of Israel to anger than all the kings of Israel who were before him. Moreover, God had instructed his people, saying, 'You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments.'"
What? Incredible. Wait until you see what happens next.
So God stopped sending the rain. The lands became dry, and the streams of water started to dry up. Soon there was no water for the animals to drink and no food for the people to eat. The terrible drought caused an awful famine. Queen Jezebel was furious. What could the idol Baal do? Nothing. What could Jezebel herself do? Nothing, at least not yet. Some time afterward, God looked down with mercy upon his disobedient children. So he sent Elijah, his prophet, to help them decide whether they would continue to worship Baal or serve him, their creator. After the people chose to worship God, the Creator, Elijah prayed, and it began to rain. Now, you think all should be well again, but Jezebel was furious. Instead of being grateful that the people would again have food to eat and plenty of water to drink, she threatened to kill Elijah, causing him to run away. Beside causing the people to worship Baal, Jezebel had also murdered many of God's prophets. For example, a local citizen named Naboth had a vineyard next to the palace, and the king liked the vineyard enormously. The only problem was that the vineyard was an heirloom, and Naboth wanted it to remain as it was, an heirloom. So Naboth refused to give his inheritance to the king, even though he had asked for it. Naboth even refused to sell it to the king, even though he had offered to pay for it. As soon as Jezebel heard the news, she became indignant. How could an ordinary citizen not give the king what he desired of him? Immediately the evil queen began to devise a plot and used the king's signature to make it official. The plot was for the community leader to call a special fast day and give Naboth a place of honor at the ceremony and commend him for the wonderful man that he was. Immediately afterwards, scoundrels or people who Jezebel had employed to lie would step forward and accuse Naboth of blasphemy. Then they would stone him to death. That was the punishment for blasphemy in those days, and that is exactly what they did to Naboth. Then Jezebel simply said to her husband, "Naboth is dead. Go possess his vineyard." Here are 5 takeaways from the story of Jezebel. Number 1. Jezebel worships the idol, Baal. In other words, she worships the devil, not God, the creator of heaven and earth. Number 2. Jezebel is an agent of Satan who infiltrates God's camp and entices his people to turn against him. Number 3. Jezebel cunningly plots, lies and murders to have her way. Number 4. Jezebel persecutes the followers of God. Number 5. Those who obey Jezebel will suffer the wrath of God instead of enjoying his blessings. Eventually, Jezebel suffered the judgment of God. Some of her servants pushed her out of a window, and just as Elijah had prophesied, dogs ate her body. You would think that was the end of Jezebel and all her evil deeds, but there is more. See you in part 2, where you will also hear about Jezebel's connection to the harp.